We actually did have some people at the agency that were not 40, but we had people that were in their mid to late 30s, definitely. But as we all know, the highest paid people and the most looked up is teen, barely legal and fresh teens. So I think that's just a basic, obvious thing that we know for quotation.
Wait, that's really weird. Why do you think that men would be viewing of really young women?
I think that there's this weird complexity about innocence, to be honest with you. I think that it comes down to there's a thing that...
Wait, they're not innocent. Hold on. They're literally not innocent at all. So
but
actually,
coming
this
from
is a
someone
perfect
that...
thing.
Well, this is coming
it has
from...
purely to do...
It's just an innocent
with
girl
their
who's getting
looks.
fucked by 3 of those guys over there. Brian, come on. What's wrong? She's
well,
innocent.
I don't know. I disagree with that because as I literally saw conversations with subscribers and saw this phenomenon, and what happens, it's when they're dressed in the school dresses, they're this, they're that. What is the underlying theme here? It's the fact that there's this weird girl next door phenomenon about the innocence of these girls, but there's this weird fantasy that's tied to it. And that's not me making things up. That's me literally seeing it.
Is true. What's going on is, what happens is that these are 25-year-old women who dress this way so that they appear younger, so that they look more attractive to men because men value younger women because they're hotter. Isn't that what's actually going on?
I don't know. As I said, my personal experience from literally working at an agency and seeing these conversations is I disagree.
Well, I don't think you do. So, for instance, if the LARP is, I'm 25 years old, but I'm dressing like I'm a schoolgirl, what you're doing is you're giving the presentation that you're younger than 25 years old, right?
But if you zoom out on that,
so if
let's
men are into
extrapolate
that
on that,
fantasy, isn't that showing that men are into youth?
But
they want young women, right?
Yeah, but why?
Because they want to f them. That's why. They want to have sex with them because that's what makes the babies.
But then what's the differentiation?
Young fertile women, so here, I'll explain it to you. Young fertile women can have lots and lots of babies. So from a biological standpoint, why is it that a man would want to have sex? Why would a man, for instance, think young women beautiful? They think that because from an evolutionary standpoint, for instance, you would assume that the younger women are going to have far more babies than older women. So younger women look more beautiful to man because then man wants to have sex with younger women, thus make more babies, right?
Look, to be honest with you, I understand that perspective. I think it's actually quite simplistic. I think that it's so complex, the subscriber and relationship is way more, I personally think, complicated than that. I don't think it's as simple as a guy looks at a young girl and thinks I'm going to have babies with her. I think that when there's such an
then
oversaturation...
why are men attracted to younger women?
I'm telling you why I think that. I just told you my theory from my personal experience is that there's an infatuation with innocence. And that's why,
Not an infatuation with can have babies. So why do you think attractiveness exists?
But why would men watch...
Here, I'll demonstrate this. Why do you think I'm attracted to Lady X even exists to begin with? Why do men and women need to be attracted to each other? Why do they need to want to have sex with each other? Why?
If you're like, I understand the procreation aspect of it.
I need you to answer the question.
I said I understand. I said I understand the procreation aspect of it. But we're not talking about that. You're taking it out of context.
No, we are talking about that. So I'm asking you, why do you think men and women need to be attracted to each other? Why is that necessary?
I understand, but what we're talking about here in this phenomenon...
Answer the question. Don't say I understand. Answer the question.
Because of procreation. But
yeah, right.
You are nuancing this.
Procreation.
Yes. But what we're talking about here in this very specific, so don't take it out of context, this very specific topic is the fact that men are not watching because they think that they're going to impregnate a woman. They're watching for other reasons. Yeah,
because they're attracted to the women there, so they're off to them. And
yes,
if you're attracted to a woman, the attractiveness exists for the singular purpose. The only reason you're attracted to woman and woman's attracted to man is because without that attractiveness, there's no baby. That's why the attractiveness exists to begin with. Therefore, if you were to look at it from a perspective of what men find attractive, why wouldn't men then go for younger women? Why wouldn't they think that was more attractive?
Yeah, look, two opposing opinions, and I totally disagree with you from my personal experience, and you think A, I think B.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you think more men are jerking to 80-year-old, or they're jerking off more to a barely legal teen and 25-year-old.
Well, I think that it's ridiculous to try and make such an exaggerated
Answer
context.
the question.
That's my answer. I think that saying 80-year-old, making a comparison with an 80-year-old and a 19.
Now answer the question. Do you think more men are to 80-year-old women, 70-year-old women, 60-year-old women, 50-year-old women, 40-year-old women, or 20-year-old women?
Well, there is fantasies of that, but no, I think that to make this extreme comparison of 80-year-olds and 19-year-olds is just ridiculous.
Answer the question.
That's my answer.
Okay, so I'll ask again. I'm going to ask until you answer it. I don't care.
Yeah,
if you
because I
think
understand you're
it's
trying to
extreme.
box me into saying the younger so that you can try and make your point, but your example is ridiculous.
Andrew, are you 6 feet tall? And I say margarine hat. Is that an answer to the question? Is it an answer to the question if you ask me if I'm 6 feet tall and I say margarine hat? Is that an answer to your question?
No.
No. Now, I'm going to ask the question again. Are more men out there off to 20-year-old women, or are they more to 40, 30, 50, 60, and 70-year-old women?
Of course the answer is younger.
MILF.
What?
I said, of course the answer is younger.
Why?
Your theory is because of procreation. My theory is because of innocence.
Well, wait a second. Women in their 30s, right, can still be innocent, can't they?
Again, if you want to extrapolate on that, why is it the younger the better, though? And from my theory...
Because they are attracted to the thing that make the baby, or they wouldn't have the attraction to begin with, right? You would not have attraction to woman if woman couldn't make baby. That wouldn't make any sense. Why would attractiveness even exist external to need to make baby? Why would that even exist?
Look, as I said, I think you're simplifying a really complex problem.
You think I'm simplifying a really complex problem?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that you are over-complexifying a really simple problem. Does that sound like a good argument to you?
Potentially. As I said, that's my experience from...
Okay. So potentially it sounds like a good argument to you that you say, well, that's an overly simplistic analysis, and I say, well, that's an overly complex analysis. That's not an argument. Tell me why it would be that attractiveness only exists, period, for the purpose of procreation. And yet, when men are to the type of in the age group where you are the most fertile, you can't make the link that these two things are connected.
I'm not denying that the link is there. I'm saying in the specific context of what we're talking about, and we're talking about the consumption of... I think that the reason for attractiveness is different than a baseline of procreation.
Well, I don't think that attractiveness even exists absent the baseline of procreation. And I think that if you're looking at 20, 22, 23, 24, 25-year-old women who are in their most fertile years, of course, they're the most attractive. Why wouldn't they be? Those are the women who are going to be able to give you the most amount of children.
But we weren't talking about 20, 22, 23. We were specifically saying teen, barely legal, and fresh teen. So there's a differentiation here.
Also,
yeah.
And so only for the purpose of TOS, only for the purpose of TOS am I not able to dive into this. But of course, at 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, yes, of course, those are very fertile women. Why wouldn't men want that? When you say innocence, when you say they're into it because of innocence meaning what? I'm a virgin 18-year-old, meaning I'm the most likely to bear your genetic offspring, correct?
Look, yeah, I guess you could see it from that perspective, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.